I have this piece of paper. I will fold it now once, and then again. And now, let's imagine I do this 40 more times. How thick do you think it will become? I've heard many different answers to this question. Some people say this much. Some people say this much. I've heard even very weird answer, like this much. But the reality is, it will be thick enough to reach the moon, which is 240,000 miles away. And you can do the math on your phones. 2 to the power of 42. We systematically underestimate exponential growth. Our brains think in linear terms. It even has a name to it, exponential growth bias. Let me tell you a story of collision of my linear world of thinking with its exponential alternative. 15 years ago, I was in management consulting and investment advisory. I took a project to help a dairy company to come out of a severe financial crisis. Imagine daily negotiations with vendors for credit, with banks for loan, designing compensation system for 500 plus employees. A project that should take just 1 month took almost 2 years. One day I was invited to a tech meetup at Tumo Center. You know how these tech meetups usually happen? Small talks here, there, hoodies, coffee, TechCrunch articles, Steve Jobs. I heard a conversation, two people talking to each other, one says to the other, I don't have a product yet, but I'm talking to investors and they are interested. And I said, what? Like, before coming to this meetup, I spent 5 hours negotiating with the bank for a loan for a company that has actual factories, employees, distribution networks, and I had a hard time convincing. These guys talking to each other, they don't have a product, they are talking about money. Am I wasting my time here? Are these people serious? Are they killing their time here? Then someone asked me what you do. I said, I'm CFO. And they immediately grabbed me into their circle. Someone said, if they can pick my brain for their financial model, introduced me to other finance people in the room, investors, founders. My network was growing. I was feeling completely different energy. That evening, driving home, I thought, it's a completely different game being played here. In retrospect, in the world of startups, sky is the limit. Because of that, you think long-term. It's never a zero-sum game. You help each other. It's really different. And I thought, I want to be with these people. But I'm not here to tell you that all of you should go and start a startup. However, there is something that every one of us can and should take from the world of startups. Because look at the world around us. AI is taking over everything. Education, jobs, work, business processes, network, capital, everything we know is changing. And if the environment around us is changing 50% a year, and we are changing 5%, then we are clearly blindsided. Exponential growth is not optional. Whereas exponential growth is a defining feature for startups. There is no startup without exponential growth. So let's look at a company called Apple. All of you know it. It started in a small garage. 4 years later, it went public. Today, it's a $4 trillion company. Or take Service Titan. Many of you in this room, I'm sure, know the company. It started with founders' desire to automate their parents' business. 10 years later, it was category leader. In 24, it went public. Today, it's $8.3 billion company. I invest in startups. I see companies succeed and fail all the time. My day job is to identify markers of exponential growth early. There is one thing that consistently prevails behind success of all the companies. They have a superpower, something that they are very good at. And they place that superpower ahead of a forming wave. And when I say wave, I mean massive structural change in system of beliefs, in economy. Superpower, position, wave. This is the formula for success. Look at Apple. Its superpower wasn't to invent everything first, but it could transform existing technologies into remarkable user experience. So when the wave of personal computing and later mobile was coming, the company was there to tap that wave and achieve its success. Service Titan. It has radically customer-first approach. It knew the customer needs inside out. So when the wave of digital transformation was covering brick-and-mortar industries, they were right there, right in time, to capture that wave and achieve their success. Superpower, position, wave. But this is formula for companies. How can we take this home? Let me tell you my story. Remember that tech meetup? Fast forward, in 2017, we started a venture capital firm to invest in startups. Today, we are investing in world's leading companies. Companies coming out of universities like Caltech, MIT, Harvard. Teams coming out of companies like Meta, Synopsys, Bosch, NASA, JPL. The guy that was negotiating a loan for a dairy company is working with scientists, world-leading scientists, around products and technologies that are going to impact everyone in this room. But that didn't happen without circumstances. We started our firm with 3 co-founders. One of my partners was deep into AI research. He was an entrepreneur himself, and his dream was to help others to avoid his own mistakes. My other partner was deep into customer development and lean startup building. My perspective was institutional. I was the down-to-earth guy who would make sure that this machine goes no matter what. At the time, I wouldn't think of it as a superpower. I was just doing what I should do. But time proved that this was a cornerstone for us to navigate through ups and downs and to get where we are today. But that was only part of the story. We started our VC in Armenia. For those of you who don't know, Armenia used to be Silicon Valley for Soviet Union. parts of nuclear bomb, first Soviet computer, all that was invented in Armenia. At the time, it had R&D centers of major Silicon Valley companies. But there were no startups back then. Very small startup ecosystem. And what happens with every emerging economy that has density of technical talent and almost no startups? Startup boom. So we tapped the emerging wave of startups of Armenian startup ecosystem on one end, and on the other end, we tapped on emerging and all-encompassing wave of AI. The latter helped us to scale and eventually invest out of United States. A few years later, ChatGPT moment happened. It was a professional, existential moment for us. Because the future that we were pitching all the time about AI became present. Everyone was investing in AI. Now what? What's next? For us, the answer wasn't what's hot, but actually where we can apply our skills best. And think about it. You can ask ChatGPT to edit your email, but can you really ask it to prepare your morning coffee? Not yet. But this is going to change, because AI is going to come into our physical world. It will cover our environment. It will cover our bodies. It will cover our brains. Like in 2018, when we were investing ahead of the wave of AI, today we are investing ahead of the wave of robotics and brain-computer interfaces. Superpower, position, wave. This is the formula for success. And here is something that everyone can take home. Do today, tonight, maybe right now, take a piece of paper and draw 3 columns. In the first column, write down everything that you love doing. In the second column, write down everything that comes easy to you, seems hard to others. In the third column, write down everything that you believe you will do better tomorrow than you do today. Everything that appears in all 3 columns is your superpower. Now it's time to answer to 3 questions. Question number 1. What is it in your life that you want to 10x and later 100x? It can be money, power, a simple thing like your followers on Instagram, or something metaphysical like your impact in this life. Whatever it is, just write it down. Question number 2, what is it in the external environment, what massive change can help you get there? And question number 3, how you can use your superpower to get there? Who else do you need on the team? Now you know your superpower. Now it's your time to catch your wave in life. And if you are lucky, you win the most. Thank you.